finale.
Season finale?
Season finale?
You know, thank you for, you know, being patient, and also thank you for watching all season. We're so excited.
This is our 28th episode.
28 freaking episodes, everybody.
We started this in the beginning of the year, and wow, it's been just like a really awesome journey.
Yeah, an amazing journey. I've loved every minute of it.
And we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And we've grown.
Yeah, and I feel like we've had some really amazing conversations with people in the Southwest Florida scene. Yeah. So, just wait. We're going to have so much cool stuff to show you when we come back in September. But first, we have a whole show to do.
Yes. So, Talking Tough covers different Southwest Florida events and hard topics. So, and we are here
At DOS.
Yes.
DOS Co-op Gallery in downtown Fort Myers.
Streaming live.
And we are sponsored by Sexy Shoes. Sexy Shoes. Me and Frankie are actually pretty well decked out in Sexy Shoes right now. I got this bitchin' bodysuit with rhinestones all over it recently, and I'm super into it. So yeah, I like it. I love it. It's so good.
Well, and if you're tuning in and you don't know us, I am now Frankie Orion. Frankie
That's
Colt.
right.
Yeah, Frankie Colt died, which I'm okay with. Yeah, she's fucking
Kill
died,
that
but it's okay. Yeah, I did. I killed that bitch, and I came back as Orion.
Rebirth.
So Frankie Orion, rebirth.
Born
Sometimes
into
you
stars.
need change.
Yeah.
So
I understand. Yeah. And I'm Angela Page, same old bitch that you've seen for however long you've seen me. So, how are you? And how are you?
Yeah, definitely tell us how you guys are doing in the comments. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling dressed up. Felt like doing something with my hair
your
today.
looks cool.
So we did a death hawk. It's called a death hawk.
It's cool.
Where you just tease and tease your hair. So, but I've been happy. Cobra's had a really good show this weekend at South Street, and that was fun. South Street is a great venue. We had a blast with Cabrera and Rocks Revolt. So shout out to those bands. Check them out.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm gonna be real. I'm like, dealing with my own stuff. I had a couple of things, a couple pitfalls this year. My band broke up and stuff like that. So I've actually just been like courting some new musician friends that I've never played with before, and gonna just hang around and play some music. Duke is making kissy faces at me, so I assume that means that he also wants to jam. So I'll put you on the I'll put you on the wait list. Just kidding, I don't have a wait list. But seriously, if you want to jam with me, send me a message, because I'm into doing whatever. So that's kind of the mood I'm in right now. Just going with the flow, seeing what life brings to me. Hopefully not a bunch of bad shit, but I'm going to stay positive. Stay positive. Stay positive.
Stay positive.
Stay positive. Stay positive.
Well, let's move on to what are you listening to?
What?
Are you listening to anything new?
Not new, but I have gone back to some old stuff. So like I said, I'm like jamming with new people and stuff. So one of the things I usually do is make them a playlist of like the stuff that's been in my catalog or stuff that I'm really into right now or whatever. And so I decided with this friend of mine, Sam, that I just met, and I'm going to go and play with her. I met a girl bass player.
Cool.
Which is, I always want to play with girls. And we're going to do like a little jam of PJ Harvey's Oh My Lover. So I'm a huge PJ Harvey fan. If you don't know who she is, she's probably one of the greatest rock songwriters, I think, of all time. And you should go check out all her records. My favorite album is Dry. It was released in '92, recorded by Steve Albini, who is the dude who recorded In Utero. And the reason that Cobain recorded with Steve Albini for that record was because of PJ Harvey's Dry. So go listen to the record, because it's super fucking sick, and I love it. What about you? What you listen to, girl?
I'm mastering Cobra stuff, so it's just been a lot of that. It's been a whole lot of, Cobra's is almost ready to release new music, so we're getting closer and closer.
I'm so excited.
So more so recently we've been listening, mastering, getting everything ready.
Yeah.
So that's
so
pretty
exciting.
much it.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys are listening to in the comments for
We
sure.
have a couple of comments here that I just want to talk about. Sarah Lee says, R.I.P. Frankie Colt, but we love Orion. Yeah.
Cool.
Rebirth.
Thank you.
And David Acevedo asks, is the Young Dead coming back with different musicians? No. That's the answer to that question.
I thought I heard that you guys have some unreleased music, though. What about that?
So we do have unreleased music, and we're going to put that out at some point. But I'm thinking about the future, not as much the past right now. So it'll come out when it comes out. But don't worry, the stuff will always be there. We got another comment.
Xavier, listening to Skip, who is a musician from Orlando.
He is awesome.
Send us
What
a
kind
link.
of
Is there a
music
link?
is that? Tell what kind of music is it?
He's a rap, he's a hip hop artist from Orlando, and he's also a visual artist and videographer.
Cool.
And
I'm gonna check that out.
yeah,
Florida music too. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And Dose Charisma just said dope. Back at you.
Dose Charisma's awesome. I'm going to hopefully see you Wednesday. I think he's coming out to Whiskey Park open mic
cool.
night. So
Awesome.
hip hop artist. So
Sweet. Yeah. Right on. So that's what we've been listening to. And we have one more from Dharma. Dharma, our good friend. Lizzo. Yeah.
Yes.
Lizzo is obviously the shit. We love her a lot. Actually,
I talked about her last week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
And she's actually going on tour, and she is going to come to Florida. And I'm going to try my best to go to one of the Florida dates.
I saw Tampa's one.
I think Tampa. Yeah. So
yeah,
really
Lizzo
like Lizzo.
brings out my inner bad bitch.
Yeah.
I
understand.
Yeah, as soon as Alita showed me Lizzo, and as soon as I heard it, it was like inner bad bitch just came out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That's so cool. And then David Acevedo said Skip's album just came out today on Spotify. So that artist we were just talking about from Orlando, new stuff on Spotify. So that's cool. That's
hey,
David,
awesome. Could you drop a
Someone
link?
drop a link.
Put a
Someone
link
put
for
a
us so we
Spotify
can-
link
yeah,
so we can plug it.
Yeah. Dose has a message for you.
Hell
Frankie.
yeah! All right, Dose is going to be at Whiskey Park open mic night tomorrow. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for commenting and participating. We're gonna move on now. We last week we actually asked you guys to submit some food pics to us, right? So we had a little thread going and we got some food pics. So we actually picked 4 this time because they were all so good that we couldn't choose between them. So what do we have? What's the first one, Frankie?
The first one, which to me is like, I wish I had it now, is swordfish with lobster sherry sauce, broccoli, and potatoes au gratin.
And I believe this is Victoria Gonzalez who posted this image.
It is a beautiful dish.
It's a delectable item, and I think Spicy Spency has it up on the screen right now. And it looks really, really good. I don't know if it's a home-cooked item or if it's a restaurant item, but either way, I'd eat it.
Yeah, me too.
8 out of 10.
I know that I
eat.
Can't cook that shit.
I might be able to. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
we're
you
gonna
teach me.
One day we're gonna do segments called Angela Teaches Frankie to Cook, and it'll just be us in heels. Keep teaching Frankie how to cook. Something other than a frozen
Teaching
burrito.
tough.
Yeah, other than
right.
frozen.
Cooking tough. That's it.
The frozen food in my fridge is, it's ridiculous. There's so much frozen stuff. You'd be so disappointed.
I'm not. I will never be disappointed. It's okay. We love you no matter what.
And then we also got the Boston Berry funnel cake at Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's Berry Farm is really famous.
Look at all the whipped cream on that.
Look at how happy Deanie looks.
Who is that? Isn't that someone you know, Spency?
That is my brother's girlfriend.
Ah.
All the way out in LA.
That's so cool.
Funnel
That's so
cake
cool.
is awesome.
It really is. I actually had a delicious funnel cake at Nice Guys last weekend. They did a fried chicken and funnel cake.
I saw the picture.
The vegan fried chicken and funnel cake, and I was all about it. It was hella dope. Funnel cake in general is delish. So, what do we got next? Next, we got codfish kisses. So these are bite-sized deliciousness. And this is by David Acevedo.
David's a good cook.
Yeah.
I've had David's food, and it is good.
I've not actually eaten it, but I've looked at it in pictures on the internet and wished I had been eating it. So I bet it's delicious. Spicy Spency talks about it all the time.
It's so good.
How delicious
So good.
it is. How good it is. That's so good. That I might not be able to make, the codfish bites. That looks too professional for me. And we have one last one.
Alita sent a picture of Bullock coffee and bites, and they make all like waffle.
Yes,
like,
waffle sandwiches.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think this is even the one that I eat all the time, which is the BH. And we love Bullock.
Yes, we do. We love Bullock.
They're amazing people. And
Support
the food
them.
is so good.
You'll never be disappointed.
Yeah.
Their coffee's amazing.
Coffee.
Their food's
Oh,
amazing. And
coffee.
also, Bullock is in this same plaza
Yeah.
where we are right now.
Yeah.
We're streaming live at
Butterfly
DOS.
Gardens.
Yeah.
And you can just walk over to Bullock.
Yeah, get yourself a coffee, come back into DOS, buy some art, buy some jewelry, do all that good stuff. Yes.
Yes.
So I think that's it for our food picks. So thank you guys for submitting those, and we're so excited because there's going to be more opportunities for you to submit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So, which is actually, now we are going to bring up our submission video. So as you guys well know, this is our season finale.
Yeah.
But when we come back for our next season, we're taking submissions for musicians and artists, and we're going to show you the video right now.
Hello, loves. It's Freaky Colt
And Angela.
and we want to promote you.
Me?
I guess you too, but I'm talking to you, our viewers.
That's right. We here at Talking Tough make it our mission to support the Southwest Florida scene.
And we want to hear from you.
Our viewers about everything that's cool that's going on in Southwest Florida.
Did you?
Or your band.
Solo project,
Just record a new song.
or a cover video,
Painting time lapse.
dance routine,
Drop a mixtape.
shoot a music video,
Write a poem.
film yourself making artwork of any kind.
Doesn't even have to be artwork, really.
Submit it to us.
Upload that ish to Dropbox,
Google Drive,
Mediafire,
YouTube.
Just submit it to us, you dummy.
Because if we like it, we might feature it on our show, and that's pretty cool.
I think so.
Me too.
We're also looking for submissions to our What Are You Listening To segment.
Send us a video of you guys talking about a new song or a band that you like, and then we'll talk about it on the show.
Live.
In front of our audience.
And that too is pretty cool.
I think so.
Me too.
For more of our submission requirements, we're going to send you
To the kindest, most beautiful, and modest person in the world, my best friend Spencer, who I'm in love with.
Thanks, ladies. So you want to submit something talking to? You better watch out. You gotta get past this stage first. And this little troll is a picky little son of a f***ing goddamn bitch. You hear me? You hear me? First, I don't want to wonder why your video looks like a bunch of f***ing Legos having a goddamn orgy recorded in 1080p. It's 2019. Also, I really prefer, if at all possible, to not have to turn your video from portrait to landscape. So shoot in landscape. Here, see how when I turn the phone sideways, all the buttons on the thing change so it's gonna shoot like this now? Yeah, please do that so it doesn't look like a f***ing idiot shot it. Also, I will edit your videos if they're really good.
Too bad chances are that you stupid Floridian. You are.
Spencer!
Submit short and sweet videos, preferably pre-edited so they don't take up all of our airtime, and send them to our email that we have listed below. Unless you're incompetent, stupid, god Floridian.
All right. You guys get the gist of it. Send us your artwork, and we'll happily put you on the show.
Because this show would be really boring without you.
Yeah, it'd be super lame.
Right?
Submit to us, mortals!
Okay, so as you can see, we are really excited to get your content and put it in our show. So send us your videos. I have just dropped our Gmail in the comments on this live feed. So make sure that you send everything to talkingtoughshow@gmail.com. We want to see all the cool stuff that you're making and doing so that we can share it with the world.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Especially in our time off.
yeah, especially in our time off. So we'll be able to take all your footage and make sure that it gets seen when we come back in the new season.
Yep.
So send us stuff over the next month and a half, all that good stuff. And we'll repost and make sure that you know that we'll keep asking you and inviting you and asking you and inviting you until you get so sick of us that you send us something to post. So we're excited to see your submissions.
And speaking of which, now we're going to move on to new releases.
Yeah, new releases. So we haven't actually done this segment in a while, but there were some new releases in the last couple weeks from some hip-hop artists here in Southwest Florida. So part of our season finale, we thought we'd go ahead and reintroduce this segment. So a couple new releases this week. Deadlink Click has released 2 new tracks on Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. They came out today. And the first is called See You in Hell, like that, featuring Kid Quest, Hot Top Johnny, and Villain. And then another one from Deadlink Click, Everything Plus Anything by Hot Tub Johnny. So again, you can catch those on Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. Make sure you check that out. And also, Sarasha Chakra, a longtime hip-hop collective that featured Wave Mage, Glow of Streetlights, Nodding Off, and a couple more in and out, but those are the 3 mains. They actually just released a new song on SoundCloud last week after a very long hiatus. So go check out their SoundCloud and listen to Rhubarb Chutney. Yes, Rhubarb Chutney. So congratulations on your new releases, everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone go out and check them out, and we'll try to post some links in our comments so you guys can listen to those tunes.
So we got new releases, and now we're going to move on to Southwest Florida Doesn't Suck. And we're going to start, we have events for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week. So we're going to start with Friday. So July 26th, there's a songwriters round with Sheena Brooke, Lila Deaton, and Lockwood Bar at the Sidney and Byrne Davis Arts Center. This starts at 7:30 and it's $5. Sheena Brooke is an incredible musician. We both know her very well, and so if you guys can go support her, definitely check her out. She's an amazing songwriter. Saturday, July 27th, Patio Concert Series. So Patio de Leon, there's always this little spot by the Indigo Room where they have musicians and everything set up. And this week on Saturday, it's Little Eddie and the Fat Fingers, and starts at 7 p.m. and it's free. Patio de Leon is in downtown Fort Myers, so go check that out. And then the last event that we have is Sunday, July 28th at the Green Cup Cafe from 5 to 9:30. It's a free event. Wave Mage, The Glow of Streetlights, Ghost Pepper, and more. So you guys can go check out all of these artists on Sunday. So that's a really good weekend of music coming up.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a great weekend of music. And
Plus, Ananda did that flyer.
Ananda did do the last flyer, and it's very beautiful.
yeah, and there's actually tons of events happening this week, including an Into the Graves production show at Rackham's and a whole bunch of other stuff. A hip-hop show at Beach Records with Deadling Click. There's so much happening that it's hard for us to talk about everything, but we do the best that we can to tell you what's going on in Southwest Florida. So we're really excited that you guys have stuck with us through these last few episodes. And now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is our featured artist. So as you know, every week we feature an artist from Das Co-op Gallery and Gifts, and we have an artist this week named Tanya Begg. She is a painter. She makes beaded creatures and jewelry. So we're going to let Spicy Spency showcase that artist now.
So I'm like so used to clapping for people. I'm like, all right, let's clap for Tanya Begg.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Really love the beaded creatures and stuff too. And I can't even I don't even know how the hell.
She has some really beautiful stuff.
The jewelry is beautiful.
We also think the name Beaded Creatures would be a good band name.
Yeah,
so that's free.
Like that.
You can have that.
All right, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is cultivating a scene. Since it's a season finale, we figured we would talk about something that we all know pretty well. And in helping build our scene, we have a lot of people who have reached out asking questions about how to put together shows, how to host open mics, how to get involved in the scene. So we figured this would be a good thing for us to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we get super into the topic, we're going to show you a video really quick from our sponsor, Sexy Shoes.
He's a tous les sens interdits. J'entends tout ce qu'il faut, les vrais, les faux et les non-dits.
Ooh, that's me. All right, so we love our sponsor, sexyshoes.com. You should go check out what they've got for you. We actually have a new code that we gave out this week, which is Sexy Strong, and you get a bigger discount. So go check out what they've got. 15% off, and trust me, they have some great stuff there. Shoes, clothes, all harnesses, jeweled bodysuits. I mean, real shit. So yeah, so make sure you check them out. So now let's talk about our topic.
So cultivating a scene. The first question we have is, what are the 3 most important things when organizing an event or show?
We want to hear what you guys think too. We want to know, even if you don't organize events or whether you do, we want to see what you think would be the most important aspects of putting together an event in Southwest Florida. So please share your opinions with us as well. We definitely like to know. What about you, Frankie? Why don't you start?
So when organizing a plan or a show, the first thing, in my opinion, is make sure you got the equipment. You got to make sure you have microphones. You got to make sure you have cords, a PA system. If you don't personally have a PA system and you still want to put on shows, I encourage that you go to a venue that already has a PA. And if you don't know how to run sound, I'm going to tell you that don't do that. If you don't know how to run sound, find someone who can. Take care of them. Like, you don't want to be going into a venue and messing up their sound system or anything.
Right. Or messing up the ears of
as well.
The audience.
Yep.
Or upsetting the bands
by
that giving
too.
them awful sound.
So it's really important, in my opinion, to make sure that you have the right equipment and all of that too, especially with like open mics. If you particularly want to do open mics, I at least make sure that I have two or three mics and that I have 2 1/4-inch cords because I get a lot of acoustic acts and so on. So some of the other things that I would suggest is plan and organize the artists' time slots ahead of time. Make sure that the artists know exactly what time they need to be at the venue and all of that to be ready. And also, if open mic nights, if you're trying to get people out, maybe text some people, see if they want to come out, if they want to sign up early. I have a few regulars, so always check in, make sure that they want on the list or whatever. And then I think the third thing is that when you're planning or organizing an event, make sure that you have the right promotions going, that you're making posts, that you have, you can make flyers. It's there's all kinds of photo editors on apps and stuff.
What are some of the ones
I actually literally think it's called Photo Editor. PhotoGrid, I apologize. So PhotoGrid is one that I've used before. And also, if you message the artist, I like doing this personally because sometimes if you go on the person's music page, you might pick a picture that they wouldn't want promoted.
Oh, right.
So I like to personally ask the musicians or artists, be like, hey, I want to promote you. Will you send me your best stuff? Send me your best photos or links or whatever that I can promote to, get you out there to everyone. So what about you?
Those are great. I just want to say first that those are excellent suggestions. Well, I definitely think that you have to make sure that, first, I really think you have to make sure that you are ready to do what you want to do. So don't bite off more than you can chew. I actually think that it's better to start small and then incrementally grow. If you take Babe Fest, for example, the thing that I'm going into my 5th year with, my first one was at Nice Guys in Cape Coral, an 80-person max capacity, and we sold out and did better than having 80 people come through the door. So it was, it's better to fill a venue to its capacity than to undersell the venue. If you keep going and you keep working and you keep organizing, there is no doubt that you're going to get better at what you do and that your event will grow. So just bite off what you can chew. Don't feel pressured to compete with anybody and what they're doing and, I want to be as big as them. Go at your own pace. So that's my second one. Go at your own pace. Grow at your own pace. Don't let anybody pressure you into thinking you have to do more than you're ready for. This year was the first year that I brought in a national act for Babe Fest. I mean, last year we brought the Tulips from Tampa, but this year we brought a band in from Seattle. And I wouldn't have done that in year 1 because I wasn't ready to do that. You have to make sure that you have all the resources that you need, like funding, and promoters and venues and everyone on your side to help you push that. So just go at your own pace. Don't feel pressured to compete with other people. That's something that affects me. Don't feel pressured to compete with other people.
Yeah.
The last thing is just stay on your shit. Like literally don't let things go by the wayside. Do not procrastinate on an event, because I guarantee you that if you do, something will mess up. You have to stay on top of promoting, have to stay on top of recruiting vendors, have to stay on top of making sure that you're getting all the stuff you need for the acts, making sure you're communicating with people, and just put in the work every single day, just a little bit of time every single day, and it'll add up. Don't let it go by the wayside. I think I'm going to add one last thing. I know I'm only supposed to do 3, but I'm going to add one last thing.
Whatever, that's awesome.
Don't be afraid to just walk into a place and talk to somebody. The biggest question I get asked with Love Your Rebellion and Babe Fest is, how do you get to do shows in Tampa or get to do shows in St. Pete and this and that? And honestly, guys, the only thing I've ever done is had a 30-second elevator speech ready. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Elevator speech. Elevator speech, right? Peach speech. If you got to have your 30-second pitch ready, and then walk into a place with materials in hand that can showcase what you want to do and ask for the manager. That's literally all you have to do, and that's all I've ever done. And if you're able to have charisma and talk to the person and give them confidence that you're going to be able to execute what you want to do, and you follow through with your word, because if you don't, they'll kick you to the curb and you'll never be invited back, then you're gold, you know? So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to follow cold leads. Don't be afraid to do that.
I actually think that advice is good for, it's good for putting together a showcase, but also solo artists, duo artists, bands, everything. Like, seriously, what you just said, like, have it ready. Because a lot of solo artists also ask me, like, what places should I play, or like, how do I go into this? Like, you go into the place, you find a venue or a bar or restaurant that you feel like you might be a good fit, and you just go in and you talk to someone. You have to get over that fear of like, what if they say no or whatever. You have to just go in and talk to them.
And you try it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, there's always more places to book shows and throw events. Spency has a face on. He wants to talk.
So if you are a show promoter, and it is your first time being a show promoter, or you are new to it, remember, you are a promoter. Like, that is one of the biggest things, is your job, more than anything, is yes, you find a venue, and yes, you find bands, and you get everything arranged, but you promote the hell out of that show, and it is your job, because you can't promote it alone. You can, I would highly suggest, get a flyer done, and pay a graphic designer. If you are not a graphic designer, don't get in freaking MS Paint and make a garbage looking flyer, because it's not going to help promote your bands. Make a good looking flyer, or get a good looking flyer made professionally if you can, and at that point it is your turn to contact all of the bands and have them post that. You have to hit up all of these bands. They are filled with musicians, and ladies, what are musicians? Horrible people. Thank you. So they are lazy and forgetful, and that is what we do. So what I would highly suggest is have a 1 day, 1 week, 1 month check-in with your bands, where it's like a month ahead of time, you should have your flyer created. At that point in time, you message all of your bands and say, hey, on your personal pages and on your band's page, put this flyer out. Create the event page. Invite your friends to this, and then you have them repost that 1 week before the show, and I would generally say 2 to 3 days before it and day of the show if you can. It is so important to be, if you are a promoter, your job is to make sure that all of the advertising gets done, and that means getting on people's asses the whole time. And yeah, fuck, you're annoying, but at the same time, you make a good show if you do that. Also, the one thing, make sure you can pay everyone. Make sure that you can pay your bands, and if you're getting people from out of town, and say worst comes to worst, like, you don't have the turnout that you want, you talk to the local bands and you say, hey, would you guys be willing to do a cut so I can pay this touring band? They get paid first. That is end all be all. And if you are a local band, I'm looking at you local people, like if you are a local band and you have a touring artist come through and the money that they were expecting to make isn't there, give it to them. They're on tour. There's nothing worse than being on tour and not having money. It's happened to me like plenty of times. So it's just like, be nice to touring bands and make sure that you can pay everyone. Pay your sound guy, pay the person that works the door. Like, if you want to do events, it is a hard thing to do, and it is nerve-wracking, and it is not for like highly anxious people, because if you are very, very anxious, it is not going to come across well. You have to be very confident in what you're doing. So,
or fake it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I want to actually go to some comments because we do have some pretty good ones. Let's start up here. Live Rock in the Cape has a few, so I'm going to go through a few of them. Lighting is very important.
Yes.
Yeah, you ask Jessie Kaysen, all she can tell you about is how mad she gets when there's terrible lighting as a photographer. Make sure you hire someone who's a good sound mixer.
Yes.
Honestly, just take recommendations from people. You know plenty of people in the scene. If you're someone who books events and stuff, just ask around. They'll tell you whether or not you're making the right choice. Live Rock in the Cape, promoting is a big thing. Most definitely got to promote. Venues and artists should both promote. I agree with that too. It's really hard for artists to promote because sometimes they're not into the business aspect of music, which unfortunately, I hate to say this to you guys, but if you're not into the business aspect of music, you're not into making money with your music. Just saying, you have to be into the business aspect, and that includes promoting.
Well, I think it is important for anytime I have ever done an open mic or any big event, I always tell the business, like, I will promote this as much as I can. All I ask is that you do the same.
Right.
Because if you're both promoting, you're both going to pull in more people, and you're going to have a really awesome music event.
Right. Just understand that music is still a business, guys. Like, it's fun and it's creative, but it's still a business. And especially if you're a promoter or making events, it's especially a business at that point. A couple more from Live Rock. An EPK would also help show the venue your material and how you sound. This is absolutely true. So when I went to St. Petersburg the first time to try to get Babe Fest up there, I had brought the compilation that we made for the Babe Fest the year before, because we used to do comps of the bands who played the show, and I brought that to him and I showed it to him, and that showed him that I already had something that I did already, that I had put together myself, that took time and effort, so they have a little bit more faith that you're going to be able to deliver. And I think the same thing is true about an EPK for an artist.
Angela, what's an EPK?
It's a press pack. So
electronic press
kit. So essentially, it's just a digital footprint of the stuff that you've done: photos, videos, music, maybe some bios, things like that. And honestly, it should be right on your website. There are WordPress themes that you can use that literally will have an EPK module as part of the theme. So it's really easy to create them as long as you have the stuff, like the photos and the music.
Honestly, if you are a band, your website acts as your electronic press kit. It shows your press, like where you were in the news if you put your website together, and has photos of your band and what you sound like. That's pretty much all an EPK is,
Yeah, it definitely is. So you want to read a couple more of these comments? Sonia, some other folks?
Sonia said, venue licensing, equipment, and advertising, which, yes.
So reiterating kind of some of the stuff we already said. And
did we get the Live Rock? Live Rock said great flyers that are eye candy.
I agree.
Are eye candy.
Yes,
love that.
People want to hit the share button because the art is so good. That's the key.
Support your local
Christian,
artists.
get affiliated with a publisher like ASCAP or BMI.
Yeah, so owning the rights to your music is really important. So nobody, and I just found this out. This is news to me. So maybe we'll all learn something right now. But if you are affiliated with BMI or ASCAP, every time you play a show, like play your own music, you can file that with ASCAP and BMI and actually get a royalty payout, because all the venues that have music played there have to pay back to BMI and ASCAP to have licensed music, right? So if your music is licensed, then that means that you're able to get some royalty from actually having played your own show. That's really important, and that's, like I said, it's something that I didn't know but now I know. So that's really important. What does Amanda Howell say?
Amanda said, we like to book a lineup where an out-of-town band doesn't have to play last because sometimes they need to make a drive somewhere else. That's
God.
really good, actually. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do not
I do
put
too.
out-of-towners as the last person on it, because it's not fair. It's
really
not fair
is.
to them, because they're here from out of town. Like, they should not be the headliner, because the headliner should be the person that everyone sticks around to see. They should be the big local band that everyone loves seeing.
Yeah.
You know, and you put them last.
Right. There's something to be said too, is that a headlining spot is not always the last spot. I need everyone to understand that sometimes there is a spot inside of the lineup that is the sweet spot. And the sweet spot, I think you'd agree with me here, is probably like between 10:30 and 11:30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I do agree.
I think that most of the time, if you're going to do a late show, you know, like something that is going to go past 11:30 or 12, your headliner is in that pocket between 10:30 and 11:30, and then you have more bands coming after it. Even when I went to Pride Fest in New York City, Princess Nokia played like in the middle of everybody else because she had a headlining spot, and the headlining spot was a particular time, not a place in the lineup. Does that make sense? I think that is the key there, is to make sure that you're doing that for people.
I know. I don't like that.
Why?
Because the thing is, the headliner is who everyone is coming out to see.
Yeah, but they're in the sweet spot.
Well, exactly. But I'm saying, if you're a local band, like if you're the headliner and then you put some band after you at midnight, everyone's going to leave for them. Your job, as if you were trying to build a scene, is trying to get as many people out to the shows to see all of the bands as possible. So if your show is going to go late, book your show earlier. Apparently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I would say that it's not always possible to book your show early. And even, Amanda Howell said midway is the sweet spot. The trick is to book the last band, if it's not the headliner, as a band that you know everybody is going to stick around and see, okay? So that's the way that you do that. Or it's somebody, and whatever, think about this. The opener and the closer, if it's a late show, those are the two people that are going to have the fewest amount of turnout. This is absolutely true, no doubt. So the first and the last band, if the show is going to go later than like 11:30 or 12 p.m., they might even could be some of the newer acts, maybe some of the ones that don't have as much of a draw. People will still stick around after that band, especially if the band themselves sticks around.
I feel like it kind of also depends on your audience. Like if you're doing a singer-songwriter, if you were doing a singer-songwriter event, typically if you start that, somewhere between like 6 or 7.
Right.
Typically when I've done singer-songwriter things, I'll do 7 to 10, 7 to 10:30.
Yeah.
But if it's a band show, then it would be later. It would be starting the show at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
And figuring out where I want to put the headliner from there.
Yeah.
Right.
We have some really good comments here. Live Rock in the Cape again. And bands should keep their pages up to date with band members and their music. I've come across so many band pages not up to date on their pages. Honestly, that's just putting the business work into the business. That's how I see that. That's part of marketing. Sonia has a comment too. Frank, you want to read that one?
I've heard of an event, I've heard of an event got, I heard an event got canceled because the venue didn't know that they had the right business permits for what they were displaying. Oh yeah, it's super important. All the businesses and stuff that you play should have an ASCAP or BMI licensing, because unless it's an all original music show,
right?
From my understanding. So I think that's definitely important. You want to be making sure that you play businesses that have the licensing for that.
What about a house show though?
I mean, that's a little bit different because it's DIY. So when it's a business, it's a lot different. And another type of thing, this is really wild, but even like some of the parameters that maybe the city or code enforcement has about music events. So like if there's a certain, for example, fire alarm decibel level that a venue has to have inside so that it can be heard above the music that's being played. And if fire comes to inspect the event and the venue doesn't have that fire alarm, they won't let you do the event inside at all. So there's like these little tiny things that you don't think about, but they have to be in your brain, and it's a lot to keep track of, honestly.
Capacity.
But capacity,
because you also don't want to start the event and then halfway through it, some fire marshal or whatever comes over and just like shuts it down. You got to take all those things into consideration. And they actually have an app that can find out the music decibels that you need to be.
Yeah.
So
Really?
there are
Yes.
apps for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We have a couple more comments. Let's read those out. Josh Mangini said, make it easy for people. As the promoter, you want to make the show easy to host for your venue, easy to be a part of for your performers and helpers, and easy to find details about and to attend for your audience. That is the most simply put and best stated response, I think. More eloquent than myself, in fact.
Ask a punk.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's move on. We have a couple more questions we want to get through.
So the other question is, what are your biggest marketing tips for events and shows?
We went over a couple of these things, but I think I only have one big tip. You need to learn how to market on Facebook and Instagram. If you do not understand the ins and outs of using audience building on Facebook and Instagram, go to Facebook Business and take the free online courses that they have to teach you how to use those tools, because without them, nobody is going to see your event. Print, not going to happen. TV, way too expensive. Radio, barely anyone listens to that. The only place that you really should be promoting, in my opinion, unless you're doing paper flyers, is Instagram and Facebook. And if you don't know how to use the tools, learn. It's not that difficult. And there's tools to let you learn how to do that through Facebook specifically. So that's mine.
I also think another cool thing is to write a press release about the show, and then you can because then you can submit it to different like news press or local magazines or whatever, and they'll share it. So it's important to try and get, if you're doing, whether it's weekly or monthly or only once, just to make sure that you get the event out there to as many press releases and outlets that you can.
I agree.
College radio too.
Yeah. Or even NPR. So a lot of the times we'll do WGCU, Gulf Coast Live, and I think that's really helpful because it gives you the opportunity to talk. When I said radio, no one really listens. What I mean is ads. So buying ads on the radio, I don't really think that's very lucrative. I don't think it's very productive.
Michelle has a comment.
Music.
Yeah, at least for DIY. We have a couple more comments.
Let's see, there's a comment from Michelle. A lot of shows that have visual artists and artisans come out and sell at booths are also a good way to expand your reach to a wider audience too, because those folks will promote the event for you. That's true. That's cool. Yeah. Having the art vendors and stuff promote as well. I think any artists or art vendors or anyone that you have involved, again, it's a teamwork thing. Like if there's art vendors there, musicians, have everyone promote.
Yeah. Send your promotional materials to these people so that they can share them themselves. And if you have specific things you want them to mention, just write that in your message. Hey, if you can mention this, mention how much the tickets are, mention whatever, just let them know. And usually they're happy to get that information because it's hard to promote, guys.
Which also, I think another thing that I would suggest is, either message these people personally or start a group chat to get everyone up on the same page. Because I also do this, for a lot of band showcases. I start a group chat and make sure that the musicians and artists and stuff are there by a certain time to set up and so on.
Oh my God, those group chats, the second they get started, it's just like meme.
You know what though? This is actually what I have to say about group chats. I think they're super fun, and I think that if you're annoyed by it, just turn off the notifications, because sometimes you'll go back and you'll read and you'll see some super important shit, but it's also a really good way to get to know artists and musicians in the area and kind of know their sense of humor and all that stuff. So I personally like them.
And it breeds camaraderie between the artists. So if they don't know each other and you start messaging and everybody starts joking, then you get to the venue and everybody knows who everybody is in a way. And so there's a little bit more of support and camaraderie. They may even feel inclined to come out and see the other bands.
Yeah.
So
you know what I'd like to see is instead of using something like a Facebook group chat, like we on the show we use Discord, and that would be a genius idea. If you're booking a show, to be able to get everyone to be able to talk about it and promote, make a Discord, because you could have different channels for them to talk about the show in, or be able to put their promotional materials and submit all of that. I'm amazed that I don't see more people taking advantage of that specific application, because it is great.
Yeah.
And I hope that we get to make one for Talking Tough here soon too.
yeah, me too. So we have one more question that we're going to go through here, and it's, what is something that you think every event promoter or organizer should know? Holy shit. I wrote these questions, and I am not prepared to answer this one. But
I actually had a good one, but it's specifically for open mic nights. If you've done a show, or if you haven't done a show, know that you're going to have your good shows and you're going to have your bad shows. And something that I have experienced with open mics specifically, and this is if you want to host an open mic, sometimes you'll get people on stage who say or do something inappropriate. I'm going to tell you right now that if you have to cut someone or get them the hell off stage, do it. Do whatever it takes. I mean, if someone's singing or doing something inappropriate or offensive, I have no problem cutting that person off. And there's also the reverse side of it, hecklers. If you've got a heckler or someone in the crowd who's being shitty, if you are hosting and you can't handle the situation, you need to go to someone in the business who can, talk to them or kick them out, or just go over there and talk to them yourself, because I usually don't have that problem either. Being like, excuse me, this person's on stage, this is their time. I understand that you're here having a good time, but this is their opportunity to perform. Just be kind.
Please go be a drunk ass somewhere else.
Yeah.
Basically.
But and it's also important to know that when you're a performer that you're going to play a lot of bars and people aren't going to be paying attention. They might be just there to drink and have fun. So if something like that happens, don't mind it. Just keep going. It's important to keep going. So,
Spency, do you have something?
Oh, I absolutely do. Something that... what was the question one more time?
What is something you think every event promoter or organizer should know?
That just because it says that you have 200 people coming to your show on your Facebook event, understand that you are probably going to get 10% of that. And if you get more than that, that's great. But 90% of times, a lot of people will just be like, yeah, I'm going to this, and then I'm going to turn into Skeletor on the couch in a Snuggie holding wine and completely avoid all of this social contact because I'm horrified of talking to people. Like, that is going to be half of the people that you deal with.
Yeah.
And don't let that dishearten you. If you care about your scene, you care about giving bands a place to play because you want your scene to flourish, do that. I want to add one more bit.
Do your thing.
Artists, visual artists. Michelle brought up something really, really important. If we want to unify our scene and not have a music scene and an art scene, but have a music and arts scene, start getting involved with the promoters. Start talking to bands. If you were a visual artist, 9 times out of 10, these places would be happy to have an extra thing there for people to see when they get to the show. Some venues are smaller, but it's like being able to go to a show and get henna done, or buy a cool, unique piece of art from a local vendor is something that's really cool. And a lot of times, you don't necessarily have to pay to have a table. But for promoters out there that are worried about being able to pay their bands and stuff, that's another way of being able to bring in a few extra dollars and be like, yeah, if you want to sell from a vendor table, you have to provide your own table. You have to, set the boundaries where it's like, you have to provide your own table, and it is, this much money to do so. I think that's something that's vastly overlooked, and it gives artists that may not be promoting themselves, visual artists that may not be promoting themselves, a chance to get, their stuff out there. You could also join an artist co-op like Das Co-op. That's another good thing that you can do if you want to get your art out there. Hey.
So I think mine is really simplistic, but overlooked. This is hard work. A lot of people might think that getting into promoting and events is a party all the time. And I am here to tell you that it is absolutely not. Even the days that you're, at the actual event, you are there hours and hours before everyone else and hours after everyone else. You are standing on your feet for 15 hours if you're throwing a festival-like event. And I'm telling you that it takes every ounce of your passion and integrity to do it right. And I say those two things because you have to really want it. You have to really want to be a part of this game if you're going to play it. Because there are people that are hella passionate and they will outdo you. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's the truth. And on top of it, you have to maintain integrity. So that means following through with your word. If you can't deliver on a show, if you aren't able to get the turnout that you promised to the venue, these things are considerable and they could tarnish your reputation. So especially if you don't pay people. If you say you're going to pay people and you don't even bother. Seriously, no one will trust you ever again. So, and I also think that, you know, people see the outcome of the things that you and I do, or some of the event promoters in our area, and think that we just snapped our fingers and it happened, but it's hours of work every single day of our lives doing things that you couldn't even imagine that we're doing because they're not something that's even in the forefront of your mind. So just remember, if you love it, you got to live it every single day. That's literally how I feel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this information that we had for you guys, and I really appreciate you being here through this episode, and I also appreciate you being here through the last 27 episodes. We are actually going to show you a last video. This is one of our comedic videos.
It's serious.
Done
That
by our sweet Spencer.
Our spicy Spencer. And we love it so much, so we wanted to rebroadcast it. Here is Weeds.
The Weeds. Everyone's talking about it. All the kids are doing it. But is it really as safe as everyone says it is? Our dedicated team tried smoking every kind we could find. It turns out some of them are fucking poisonous. If you smoke weed, you will die. So remember, next time someone gives you some weed, send it to us and we'll get rid of it for you. This ad paid for entirely by the Talking Tough production team.
So we absolutely love that video, so we just had to show it to you guys again. And before we sign off, we want to know if you have any questions. So we ask questions all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have any questions that maybe we haven't answered, why don't you put them in the comments for us and we'll get to them. In the meantime, why don't we just talk about some stuff that we love about doing events? What, Spencer?
I just wanted to bring up, Frankie had said something earlier about like if people get on stage and start being problematic. You sound like you have experience with that happening.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any horror stories of that?
I won't give specific horror stories because some of them are so inappropriate. Like it's like mind-boggling to me that someone would get up on stage and be rude or inappropriate, not only at like an event, but you know, disruptive to a venue or bar or a restaurant. You know, and because I mean, just like I said, just equally you get hecklers and stuff too, especially with comedy. And I have to be honest, I think comedy is a little bit more difficult to do than music, because if you're playing guitar or singing, you can just play so fucking loud that you're playing over the people, where comedy, you're engaging with people. So when someone's like heckling someone, yeah, I have no problem going over and being like, hey, be fucking nice or get the fuck out.
Or on the flip
Pretty
side,
much.
there's a lot of comedians who think that their material is very funny when in fact it's insanely hurtful and problematic, and it's like,
well, but to be totally fair, if they're going up on stage and they sign up as a comedy act, you have to realize that it is comedy. Depending on what it is, you know, if it's something that's super inappropriate, again, no problem taking that person off the stage. But sometimes that person, it's like the only opportunity they get to perform.
yeah, but if you're going to get on stage and start making gay jokes,
And I think, but that's the thing.
There's a line.
So there's, and also, so when I specifically have hosted, you know, open mics or events with comedy, I'll typically make a rule. It'll be like, don't talk about this or don't talk about this, you know, because this is meant to be entertainment. This is meant to make people smile and happy, not, you know, have customers leave the business or leave upset.
Feelings,
yes,
you know?
exactly.
Right.
So,
There are good things about events, though.
there are a lot of good things about events, and I think the thing with events is that you have to really care. You have to care about not only the event, but the people that come to them.
Yeah, your audience.
When you start hosting events and you start promoting and doing all this stuff, you get really invested in people and their feelings. And something that I specifically like about open mics and stuff is you usually at an open mic, you'll get new performers, people who've never performed before.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to be encouraging and kind.
You're so
that
good
they
at
can
that.
get
You are
yeah,
so
so they
good
can-
at that.
Because
Seriously.
I used to be someone who used to play open mics when I was young and then go home or go in my car and cry. You know, I think it's important to lift people up rather than constantly tear them down. Like, oh, well, that song was shit, or you did a bad job. I mean, like, hopefully no one ever says that. If anyone ever says that to you straight up,
Yeah.
tell me. I'll go poop in their beds. But yeah, I would do that. No, but seriously, it's important to be kind and encouraging, and that's also something that helps thrive the music scene.
Helps grow it, for
Yeah.
sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I think definitely one of the best things is seeing some of those folks come out of their shell for the first time, playing to an audience for the first time. That's really sweet. I'm going to be selfish with mine and say that the best thing about an event is the day after. And the reason I say that is because if you've done well, the day after an event that went fucking badass is the greatest day of your entire life. Mm-hmm. You can ask my two friends, Annie and Michelle, who are at every Babe Fest every year with me.
You are in such a good mood after this last
morning
one.
to end. Like, I was like, the day after we stayed in Tampa and went to the beach and went to a cool ass event in Tampa, and you can ask them, I was on my shit. I was on my bullshit that fucking night because I was like, nobody can touch me. I just did something so hot. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
The high of that is better than sex is great and all, but have you ever thrown a really fucking dope event? That's what I have to say.
I actually remember texting you the day after Babe Fest, and you were like, ah! You were so happy. But I love that, and I'm glad that you had such a successful Babe Fest.
And anyone can do it, you guys. Anyone can do it. It's not, you just have to really want it. That's it. So let's go to our comments. We have a couple more here. Dose Charisma says, I found out at the last show I performed that I really like when an artist gets the crowd comfortable before they do their gig. So I guess like talking to the audience, just having good banter. I actually find as a musician that is the hardest thing in the world for me. I can host and have banter, especially if I have Frankie next to me, because we have fun. Yeah, we have fun together. But like as a musician, I'm just like, hi, here's a song, and then we play it.
It is good to get comfortable, and actually it brings me to another point with open mic nights. If you are someone that's interested in hosting an open mic night and you're a musician, no 3 hours worth of music, because if no one shows up, you play. Yeah, you play those 3 hours. And also for me, I either get featured artists or I typically kick off the open mic night, and I'll kick off the night with like the first 15-20 minutes. So I think that is important. It's important to talk and engage with the crowd.
So you guys have any questions for us? If not, we're gonna sign off pretty soon. Spencer, do you have anything that you want to add as one of our final thoughts about this?
What good things?
Yeah, good things about events. Like what's a good thing?
I mean, you're bringing your community together, and you are giving artists a platform and the ability to see a whole bunch of people, to get a new crowd, and that's something that I think is really important. When I used to book shows back when I lived in North Carolina, one of my favorite things to do would be to book diverse shows. Try to get a little bit of everything in there, because it sucks when you live in a town that has a thriving metal scene and then a hip-hop scene that's not doing anything and an indie rock scene that isn't doing anything. Yes, sometimes you don't want to be putting specific like genres next to each other, but at the same time, like, it gets people meeting more new people. Like we go to shows because we want to be entertained and we want to socialize, because we are social creatures and we like to live on top of each other in little teeny boxes. Like, shows are supposed to be a time to enjoy art and enjoy each other, and that's what you should be doing as a promoter. You should be creating a better community for everyone to be in, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what you get to do. And then the day after, not only is it like, oh, I did this event, but it's also like, oh, fucking finally, I'm so happy that I don't have to think about that event anymore.
I'm free. That's me. And the Babe Fest cycle ends. I'm like, I'm free for like 2 months, and then it starts all over again. But it's fine because I love it, and it's a good type of anxiety. So.
I like that Amanda said always have a sense of humor. I think that's definitely important.
Yeah, bands shouldn't take themselves so
and
seriously.
to be yourself.
Yeah.
to be yourself.
Or be someone completely different. I like getting on stage and just being a complete fucking asshole.
Wait, that's not you?
Fuck you.
All right, so I think we've covered a ton of stuff. Oh, wait, I want to read this comment from Marty, one of our local venue owners. I agree with Spencer about diversity. Weird combinations of artists are always my favorite shows. Marty does like the mixed lineups, and I do know that. And Frankie and I try to do that as well. Even with Rock for Equality, we always
multi-genre.
We always do a multi-genre show because we just want to bring everybody together. That's kind of the point. So it's really cool. We need an all-female band in this area. Yeah. I am calling on you. If you're a girl and you play drums, bass, guitar, saxophone, keyboard, accordion,
or triangle,
I don't fucking care what it is. Message me or message the Talking Tough page and say that you want to play with Angela Page, and I will message you and we will figure it out. Because you're right, we do need an all-girl band. I would love it to be my band. So, yeah, thanks, David. Anyway, so that's it, right?
Yeah, that wraps up the season finale.
Oh my God, season finale.
Cultivating a scene.
My God.
You guys, get involved. Post stuff. Work together. Just get together and get out and fucking do shit.
That's right. Make it happen, because you can do it. You have the power.
Yep. Also, I would just like to say thank you again to our sponsors. Sexy Shoes, we do have a new code that is Sexy Strong for 15% off.
Make sure you click our link at the top of this video and buy some shit, because it's dope.
Yeah, they got some cute shit. Thank you, Das Co-op.
Yeah, for this beautiful venue that we broadcasted from for like the last 2-ish months, I want to say.
About
3
Maybe
months.
more?
About 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
We did about half of the season's episodes in this gallery. So we want to thank you so much. We love everything that y'all have been doing for us. And of course, our producer, Spicy Spency, without which most of this technical shit would not even be possible. So that's it for our season.
Yeah, and we're going to start back up Tuesday, September 24th.
Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars.
We'll be back with a whole new season full of all new shenanigans and the same old familiar faces that you love so much.
We'd like to thank you again. I'm Frankie O'Ryan. If you want to be a unicorn, go be a fucking unicorn.
And I'm Angela Page. Do no harm, but take no shit.
Oh my God, it's finally. Oh shit!